The afternoon sun blazed over a long stretch of quiet country highway, a setting far too peaceful for the nightmare that was unfolding inside a rusty white van. Behind the dusty back window, an 8-year-old girl named Marina Hale raised a crumpled piece of paper with trembling hands. In shaky, childish letters, it read, "Kidnapped. Help." She pressed the sign against the glass, her heart pounding in her small chest, praying that anyone would see it. Ahead on the shoulder of the road, a group of bikers stood near their gleaming motorcycles, taking a break from the heat. As the beat-up van rolled past, their eyes lifted, squinting against the sun's glare. For a moment it was just another vehicle on an empty road. But then, they saw her. They saw her terrified face behind the glass, the desperate message clutched in her hands. They froze. Grant Maddox, the seasoned leader of the Rig Ahorn Riders Motorcycle Club, locked eyes with the child for only a second, but it was enough. An unspoken understanding shot through him, a protective instinct as fierce as the engine of his bike. His fellow riders Silas Straven, Rohan Vale, and Brian Leon felt the same electric jolt of urgency. They were men hardened by the road, often misunderstood, but in that instant, their purpose became crystal clear. Without a single word exchanged, they threw on their helmets, the visors snapping shut like a call to action. They slammed their heavy boots to the pavement and fired up their engines. The roar of 4 powerful motorcycles cut through the still air like thunder, shattering the afternoon's quiet tranquility. A promise of justice was now thundering down the highway. Inside the van, Marina clutched her makeshift sign tightly, fighting to stay brave. Her kidnapper, a man named Trevor Colling, muttered angrily to himself as he drove, completely unaware of the 4 bikers who had just become her unexpected guardian angels. Marina had written the message on a torn flyer she'd found stuffed under the seat. She remembered her mother's words, a gentle whisper in her memory, saying that courage often appears in the smallest, most shaking hands. Now, that tiny moment of bravery, fueled by a mother's love, was about to change everything. As the bikers closed in, their engines a deafening chorus, Trevor finally glanced at his rearview mirror. His eyes widened in panic. The sight of 4 massive motorcycles flanking his van sent a wave of fear through him. He stomped on the accelerator, trying to outrun them, but his rusty van was no match for their speed and skill. Grunt and his crew moved with the precision of a well-oiled machine. They had ridden together for years, and their coordination was flawless. Rohan expertly pulled ahead, slowing down and signaling to block any oncoming traffic, creating a safe zone for what was about to happen. Silas rode up on the van's right side, his presence alone forcing the vehicle toward the shoulder. Briar fell back slightly, keeping the road behind them clear, ensuring no other cars would get caught in the chaos. Then, Grant pulled up right beside the driver's window. He didn't need to shout or make a threat. He just looked at Trevor, his eyes burning with a silent, unwavering promise. This ends now. Overwhelmed by the pressure and the sheer intimidation of the bikers surrounding him, Trevor swerved violently. He lost control. The van skidded sideways, kicking up a massive cloud of dust as it screeched to a halt on the gravel shoulder. Before Trevor could even think about fleeing, Silas was off his bike, his imposing frame moving with surprising speed. He yanked the driver's door open and pinned the man to the ground before he could take a single step. The fight was over before it even began. At the same moment, Grant sprinted to the back of the van. He wrenched the rear doors open, and a flood of bright sunlight poured into the dark, stuffy space. It was like a warm rescue, a physical manifestation of the hope Marina had been clinging to. She was huddled in the corner, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. She hesitated for only a heartbeat, seeing the large, leather-clad man standing before her. But then she saw the kindness in his eyes, the gentle concern that softened his rugged features. She scrambled forward and ran straight into his arms, burying her face in his jacket and crying with pure, unadulterated relief. Grant held her gently, his strong arms wrapping around her, as if she were made of something incredibly fragile and precious. He whispered soft, reassuring words, telling her she was safe now, that everything was going to be okay. Later that day, after the authorities had arrived, Marina was returned safely to her mother's loving embrace. Trevor Colling was taken into custody, his short-lived reign of terror brought to an end by a childless courage and for men who refused to look away. Outside their clubhouse, the bikers stood quietly under the setting sun, their motorcycles parked in a neat row. The world often saw them as rough, intimidating men, outcasts living on the fringes of society. But today, they had proven something different. They proved that heroism isn't about what you wear or what you ride. It's about what you do when you see someone in need. This story reminds us that even the toughest looking souls can carry the brightest light, and that sometimes, kindness doesn't come with soft voices or clean hands. Sometimes, it comes roaring down the highway on two wheels, a force of nature unwilling to let darkness win. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to World of Kindness. And we want to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what would you have done if you saw a child signaling for help? Thanks for watching.